When I think about what turns membership into movement, I think about Mike Nolan. Mike Nolan joined Silver Spring Toastmasters back in 1975. And he was the heart of Silver Spring Toastmasters. But in 2010, his life took a turn and he ended up moving to Florida. And the club lost its presence. Now, these are stories I've learned about Mike even before I got there in 2016. However, during 2020 and the year 2021, when the world went virtual, Mike was back. But he was back on our screen. And let me tell you, it was a sight to see. Because here's the thing. Between 2010 all the way up to 2020, Mike was still paying his club dues. Mike was still giving his input via email when he got emails out there. Okay? And he was always bestowing his wisdom, even though he was virtual during our meetings. And here's the thing. I never even imagined seeing Mike in person. Here's what's crazy. 2 years ago, I was at the District 36 conference. And I was sitting in the front row preparing to give a talk or something of that nature. And I sat down next to this giant man. He had to be like 6'4". And you know what? It was Mike. I was like, oh my goodness, I had no idea. We laughed. We took photos. It was a great time. But here's the thing. Mike kept belonging alive at Silver Spring Toastmasters. He always told us that belonging is more than just showing up. It's creating a culture where people feel welcomed, they feel celebrated, they feel challenged. In fact, Mike was so influential in our club that we literally kept Zoom alive. We kept virtual meetings solely so that Mike can stay with us. Because Mike made belonging alive for us. So I'll give you some examples. One of the things we do at Silver Spring Toastmasters, where we have roughly 45 to 50 members, is the first thing that we do is we assign new members mentors. Now, a mentor is not meant to be with you your entire Toastmaster life. They're there to get you acclimated to Toastmasters. They're there to help you get you through to your first few speeches, help you learn and understand pathways, kind of get you going so that you have that one-on-one support. They can share with your mentor your feelings and your thoughts, and they re-encourage you. You build relationships this way. The second thing that we do at Silver Spring Toastmasters to create that sense of belonging is that we celebrate. Oh, do we celebrate. Now, during Toastmasters, I'm sure you all know, after someone gives a speech, we clap and we celebrate them. No question about that. But this is a little bit different. For example, when you give your icebreaker speech, not only do we give you a standing ovation when you're finished, we even give you a little icebreaker candy gum when you walk off. We give you a certificate of appreciation for giving your icebreaker. We really celebrate that moment because that is the first step in your journey of being a Toastmaster, being a great leader, a great communicator. We also celebrate milestones within your pathways. You complete level 1, we've got a certificate. Everyone knows about it. We put it on the board. We put it on our Facebook. We celebrate those that are making accomplishments. Our Toastmaster of membership and our VPPR, we don't just celebrate Toastmaster achievements. We celebrate personal achievements. When someone has a birthday, someone has a new baby, someone has a wedding, we know we are involved with our members. We know what's going on, and we celebrate their life both in and outside of Toastmasters. This creates a sense of community. There's no judgment here, there's only growth. And that brings us to the last portion that really Mike used to drive home: challenging our team members. We challenge our members. You haven't given a speech in 2 to 3 months, we're going to schedule your next speech. If you need a mentor, we'll give you a mentor. If you need support, we'll give you support. But we're not here as Toastmasters spectators. We get involved. We're going to challenge you to take on leadership roles. We're going to challenge you to take on speeches. We're going to challenge you to bring new visitors. Because that's what Toastmasters do. We push you outside of your comfort zone because that's where the growth happens. Mike always used to say, that's where the growth happens. I'll tell you somebody else who grew. Rhonda. Now, Rhonda is one of my favorite people on earth. So when I was at Columbia Toastmasters, I was the vice president of membership. And when Rhonda joined the club, every meeting she would sit all the way in the back, all the way in the corner with her coat on and her hat and her sunglasses, and she would never say a word. And after every meeting, I would follow up with Rhonda like, hey, Rhonda, come on, let's go ahead and get your icebreaker. Come on, let's go ahead and have you take on a leadership role, a timer, something along these lines. And it was always nope, 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 nope. Every meeting for 4 months, 4 months in a row, I had these conversations with Rhonda until one day she decided to take the timer role. Oh, it was glorious. I was like, yes, this is the beginning. She took the timer role, and being the timer, she had to sit closer to the front so that the speaker could see the timing lights, right? So she took her jacket off, she took her hat off, she took her sunglasses off, and she sat at the table. And then she gave her report on timing at the end of the meeting, and she got applause, and I could see the confidence building. I could see the micro expressions and smiles and joy she was feeling. I took that opportunity. And I said, hey, Rhonda, why don't we do your icebreaker? As a matter of fact, I'm going to schedule it right now. Mike's words, challenging her. I said, go ahead and we'll give you your icebreaker at our next meeting. At first, she hesitated, but she said, okay, let's do it. 2 weeks later, she gave an amazing icebreaker, told her story about being a secretary and being an administrator and just not doing what her heart wanted, but doing more of what her skills allowed. Now, Toastmasters did to me what it always does. It levels up your skills. And because my skills leveled up, I had to step away from the club. And I was gone from the club for roughly 18 months. I just didn't have time to join. But when I came back that first time, standing in front of the door facing into the room was a tall young lady in heels and a nice flowing dress. I said, excuse me, ma'am, trying to get by? And it was Rhonda. When I tell you she was unrecognizable. Not only was she unrecognizable and more confident than I've ever seen her, she was giving out orders before the meeting started. I said, who is this CEO running this meeting? Not only was she the president of that club, she was the district governor. She was doing a lot of work within the district. I mean, she was doing all kinds of things. In fact, today, Rhonda is a world-renowned speaker and executive coach. She gives talks all over the world. And it all started from one role at Toastmasters. It took wrapping our arms around her, being consistent, challenging this member to take her life to the next level. Now, I won't say that everyone will become a Rhonda, but when I say this, when you, as a club, create a culture that is welcoming, a culture that assigns mentors and celebrates milestones and challenges your members to be better, you're creating a culture of not just membership, but movement, a culture of belonging. Let's continue to create those moments so you have your own Mike and Rhonda stories to tell. Madam Toastmaster.